Hello out there in the YouTubeverse. Max here, Supraliminal Games, playing some Arena Draft. We love Arena around here and we love Draft around here. Well, I do. So, now you're subjected to that. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and competitive draft 2019, a format that I have grown to. I'm like leaning on the dislike side of things in this format. Where Dominaria, it took me a while to get, and I was starting to really like it. I was starting to kind of figure the format out. Where this format seems to be a little bit more kind of peaks and valleys to me. We'll get started in here, and I'll kind of talk about it as we go. But let me pay my shekels and confirm the purchase, and we'll see what we got. All right. Change the view so everybody can see. I just thought I heard a sound. Sorry about that. I did hear a sound. It's my mouse rubbing. Okay. Problem solved. So we got a Diagraph Ghoul, a Dragon Egg, and a Gear Per Guide in our uncommon slot. All kind of okay. The cards that really interest me in this pack are more common based. Druid of the Cowl, in particular, Divination is quite good. If I were to have a say in how the packs would go, I would prefer to open something decent for Boros and go into Boros, because to me, flat out, full stop, Boros is the best deck in the format. And I don't play as much as other people. I'm not nearly as good as pro players who feel that the format is a little... And granted, there's no Pro Tour for M19, so it's not like it's been extensively tested. Just the players playing a lot to put out content, which is awesome. I love the pros who do that. If you're looking for good ones, LSV, obviously Luis Scott Vargas, kind of needs no introduction. Ben Stark, also a great resource available, and he's been doing a lot more for Channel Fireball and a ton for M19, which has been really valuable. And they all kind of claim that you can play things like Divination, you can play things like Cancel, you can play your a little bit slower decks, and I just feel like full stop, you want to be on Boros' plan. If there's even a medium playable in the deck, if there's an Angel of the Dawn, if there's a Boggart Brute, it just feels like those are windmill slams in this format to me. Now, we've opened none of those things, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Druid of the Cowl because I feel like it's the best green common. It gets you into the big creatures that you want to be getting onto as quickly as possible. Moving into this pack, there's Vigilant Baloth, there's Blanchwood Armor, which I'm kind of medium on. So if you're newer to draft, Blanchwood Armor looks awesome, and it gives me a good talking point for ceiling and floor in Magic. Now, you're talking the ceiling, you're talking about the high level. This is the best possible thing this card could be. So the best possible thing that Blanchwood Armor could be is it goes on a creature that has some kind of evasion, trample, flying, etc., and we're playing predominantly forests, 6-7 forests out when we play this card. So the creature gets +7/+7, it's got some kind of evasion to make it really hard to block, and we can get through a lot of points of damage. Now let's talk about the floor on this card. We're playing it in a 2-color deck, we're playing where we have 2-3 forests out, and we're playing it on a Nilla creature with no abilities. It ain't that good. It's like an Oakenform, which is a common. So, to me, this is very much on the level of Oakenform, except maybe like Pack 3 in a very green-heavy deck. It feels very bad to me in this format in particular. Cards that do excite me are still in green, so it's a good thing. Vigilant Baloth is quite good. 5/5 Vigilance for 5. Daggerback Basilisk, who I feel like really overperforms in this format because of things like the card next to it. Rabid Bite. I feel like the removal is very good in this format when you can get to it. The good spells in this format are the removal spells. There's efficient removal spells in all the colors. Lich's Caress is arguably the best common in the entire set, like full stop. So the removal's good. The creatures are kind of medium, so it makes it really hard to make a deck because you kind of want to put these good high impact cards in, but you don't always get a chance to. Like, Rabid Bite's a great card, and I would certainly take it, but I feel like the Vigilant Baloth is pretty darn good, unless we're in a ground stall situation. So it makes it a really tough pick. There's also a Druid of the Cowl in this pack, and I definitely don't mind having 2 or 3 if we can get to it, but I like having these 5 and 6 mana cards when I already have 1 Druid of the Cowl as payoffs for my Druid of the Cowl. So if Vigilant Baloth wasn't here, I'd probably be grabbing up the Rabid Bite and hoping to get a Basilisk a little later on, and hoping maybe to get a second Druid. But since I have a Druid already, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a nice, meaty, higher-end payoff to that, and that is the Vigilant Baloth, because they do tangle with things like the Thornhide Wolves particularly well, and I think that's a good thing. This pack has Sleep, which is great in like a dedicated blue tempo deck. If you can get the Exclusion Mage and things like that, maybe the Artifacts deck, and you can start hammering on them, Sleep is a really good card. If you're playing just a control deck, Sleep may be draw a card. That may be how it reads. Luminous Bonds is in this pack. Again, I think removal is very, very important in this set, and I think the removal is very good in this set. And you have to know kind of how to use it. 'Cause sometimes you feel like you're going to waste it on kind of a medium creature, but sometimes that's the right play. Sometimes you're just Luminous Bondsing up some kind of a 4/2 or something, and you just have to do that. You have to really be able to assess the situation to stay alive. So I think the uncommons are all kind of medium in this pack, hence the reason they're still around. I think Skyscanner is probably the best pick for us. It doesn't force us into a second color. I think it's quite good in these kind of decks. We can pants it up if we get an enchantment or something. It blocks in the air, gives us a little bit of a reach to kind of buy us some time. And I think Luminous Bonds is really good, but I'd rather take Skyscanner because I think it's close enough that I'd rather stay in a color so I can kind of see what's open. I don't think that Luminous Bonds is quite bomby enough to want to take. That being said, a ton of blue in this pack flowing. There is Surge Mare, Aviation Pioneer, Disperse. All I think are very good cards. Cancel's pretty good. Strangling Spores is great. That's probably going to end up being my pick. I really do not like the black and green color combination in this set. I don't think it's good enough unless you draft a very good, very concise and strong curve. I just don't think that the colors are that good together. There's no real synergy payoff that some of the other colors get, like black and white with life gain and blue and white with artifacts. I think black pairs much better with white and pairs much better with red in this format. We could take Diamond Mare, which is okay. It's a 1/3 for 2, which is pretty good rate in this format, and it also can gain you life over the course of the game. It's not bad. It could let us audible into blue if we draw like a Skilled Animator or something. We already have a Skyscanner and a Diamond Mare, which isn't too bad. Town's Wildwood is bad enough that I'm going to have to go out of green for this pick. So I'm really looking at Strangling Spores and Diamond Mare. And maybe, I'm not a big fan of Surge Mare. It's probably one of the better mares, but I'm still not a huge fan of it. I'd take Diamond over it, I think. So to me, it's between Diamond Mares and Strangling Spores. We don't have a removal spell yet, but I have played Black-Green, and it's just so grindy. I'm really not a fan of it. So I'm going to snatch Diamond Mare and really hope I don't have to go into Black-Green. All right. Well, we talked about it. I talked about it, mentioned it by name in the last pack. Skilled Animator. It's quite good. It's quite early. If we were to pick a green card, it would be a pretty easy Basilisk, and I definitely think that's defensible, and I would not fault anybody for taking Basilisk here. But I think Skilled Animator is good enough, or enough better than the Basilisk. We could get into Blue-Green, and Blue-Green does have that really sweet payoff. I forget the name of the card, but it's the Elf Windrider or something like that. It's really good, and it's in Blue-Green, so that could be a big payoff for us taking that. The Basilisk is really good. They're easy to come by. I'd like to grab like 1 or 2 along with 1 or 2 Rabid Bite, especially if we go into blue. We're not going to have that much removal, so we really have to be careful and prioritize removal a little higher if we go into blue. That being said, there's nothing in this pack that really contests Skilled Animator. I like Salvager. It's good. It can get you a card back, but I think Skilled Animator is just good enough and it's early enough we can prioritize some more artifacts and kind of keep things rolling nicely. Moving on to the next pack, One with the Machine really isn't playable in Limited. You'd have to have a very bizarre deck, like maybe like a lot of the Guardians, the Gearsmith Guardians, I think they're called. They cost 5 to get you to you have to have 2 or 3 to want to pay off One with the Machine. Disperse is fine. I do not mind Bounce at all in this format. There are tokens, there are a lot of auras, and Disperse just kind of breaks that up quite nicely. For green, we really don't have much. We have a Naturalize for the board. This is competitive, so Naturalize is a very important sideboard card, so I'm not saying that that's unpickable here. I'm really not digging it as my 6th pick. I can't believe that there's a Boggart Brute in this pack. I'm considering possibly taking the Boggart Brute. I'm not the biggest fan of green-red, but if we go, maybe we go into blue-red spells and, you know, that kind of a thing, where we're on blue-red, like, tempo-y kind of thing, and we drop the Druid of the Cal and the Vigilant Baloth. I'm not opposed to that. I think Boggart Brute is enough better than every card in this pack that it's worth taking. So I'm going to take it and risk it. It's a pretty free pick for us, so minimally we just don't play it. And that's no big deal. Alright, so moving into this pack, we see nothing in blue for us. We see nothing really in red for us. The Hostile Minotaur is a total playable, but I'm not going to take it over Daggerback Basilisk, who, like I said, is very, very good in this format. It matches up pretty well with everything. This pack, Bristling Boar and Recollect, basically, we could try to sneak and anticipate, but I don't even really think that's too playable, even in the spells decks. So I'm just going to take a pretty easy Bristling Boar here. And that's going to kind of, this pick will pretty much cement us in green. And that's Gear Per Guide. This card's quite good, it's quite strong, it does everything you need it to do. It can punch through late game. It's not a bad card at all in this format. Certainly better than Highland Game. I wouldn't mind 1 Talons of Wildwood. But this is a pretty easy Gear Per Guide for us. And just like that was a pretty easy Gear Per Guide, there's a Daggerback. I could grab this Woodland Stream. It's kind of a contested pick here. I like the Basilisk a lot, but as you can see, they're fairly easy to come by, but I do think work very, very well in this format. So I'm going to grab the Woodland Stream because this could be good fixing for us. We're certainly going to run the 2 artifacts, right? I just don't know if we're going to go blue or red yet as our secondary color. I'd prefer to go blue-green if we see another good payoff to go with it, but I'm not opposed to red-green if we need to go that way. It's not the best, but if we can pick up a Shock and an Electrify, I always mix up Electrolyze and Electrify. Electrify, we can make a decent little green-red deck that can go over the top. So I'm going to grab Woodland Stream just as a potential piece of fixing. Alright, Thornhide Wolves, not another bad 5. It's actually pretty good in this format. Bested only by some of the uncommons, really. There's that Talons of Wildwood I was talking about. So, all in all, this is coming together kind of nice. We don't quite know our second color yet. Great late naturalize there. We don't quite know our second color yet, but it's going to probably end up looking like it's going to be blue based on the density of this pack. So, let's take a look at this pack now that I've brought it up. Metamorphic Alterations, actually kind of a versatile card. You can put it onto any creature, and then you choose a creature for it to become a copy of. So you can put it on your creature and get a second of the best creature on the battlefield, or a first if your opponent has it. Or, conversely, you can put it on your opponent's best creature and turn it into the worst creature on the battlefield. So it has a lot of flexibility. It's very cheap, and it's a nice piece of interaction. If you can get removal for this cheap in this format, you kind of want to grab it up. Sift is an awesome card. I'd love to have a Sift, and I'd love to have a Horizon Scholar. They're both excellent. Horizon Scholar gets you value right away by entering the battlefield and scrying for 2. I think that's very, very powerful. As far as green, unfortunately, it's just 2 kind of mediocre playables. I'm not sad having a boar. We already have a boar, so I don't really need to grab another one. Disperse and Cancel are both fine, but I think the pick is between the 3 cards here, the rare and the 2 uncommons in color. I think it's going to be Alteration. I haven't gotten to play with it yet, but it's quite a versatile card, and it's pretty darn good, where if we can take their creature out of combat, we can start to kind of run them over with bigger creatures, which I think may be the plan. The Horizon Scholar is very tempting because of how much value we get out of it right away. But I want to try a card I haven't tried before, so let's do some science. Alright, rolling into this pack, we see a payoff for now going into red. It's another 1 and a red payoff. Lightning Strike is an awesome removal spell in this format. We also have Rabid Bite and Courser, who I like both of these cards quite a bit. They're in the color we know we're going to play, so I'm just going to grab up a Rabid Bite because I know we're going to play this Rabid Bite 100%. If we end up getting into red, I will miss the Lightning Strike, but at least I got another good playable instead of that particular card. Alright, so looking into this pack, man, Boggart Brute, that's crazy. Psychic Symbiont, I like this card a lot. I think it's very, very good. Yeah, not much to say. It kind of says it all. When it enters the battlefield, an opponent discards a card and you draw a card. Yeah, It's a 3/3 flyer, by the way. And it's got cool art. Nice work, Robbie Trevino. Yeah, so I think it's between Centaur Courser to me and Dwindle. Dwindle's a nice piece of removal. Centaur is a really nice curve filler. So if we drop Boggart Brute out of the equation, we have a Skilled Animator, a Daggerback Basilisk, and a Gearper Guide on 3. So our 3s are not bad. Like, our 3s are actually all pretty darn good. So we could grab a removal spell here, and I think I'm going to take the time to do that. Because like I said, these colors don't get access to removal. So being able to snatch some up is very, very important in these colors. Alright, and this pack is an absolute mess for us. In Arena, if you don't know, you draft against AI, you don't draft against other humans. So I'm not playing in a draft with humans, I'm playing in a draft with simulated humans. So I'm not going to play any simulated humans. When you play against real people who did a draft with 7 bots, just like we're doing. So I'm not passing anything I'm going to that's going to necessarily, get past and beat me later on. It's just going to, kind of get lost to time. But man, there's nothing, and there's not even a naturalize to throw on the board or a plummet to throw on the board. There is almost flat nothing in this pack. I'm just going to grab an Explosive Apparatus. I think it's somewhat playable. It might be okay because, A, it's a piece of removal, again, where we don't get a whole lot of it, and it's an artifact, so the Skilled Animator has relevance with it. But boy, oh boy, I'm not happy about that pick. That's probably the toughest. That just feels the worst of all the picks we've had so far with this game. Alright. So there's Rogue's Gloves, which are actually pretty good in this kind of a deck. We can sneak in some damage with a creature they can't answer and just draw some cards, which is kind of nice. It's, again, also an artifact for the Skilled Animator. So it's that, to me, versus the Plummet. It could be Scholar. We have enough artifacts. We're leaning that way, but I think the Gloves is just a nice pickup here. It has so much flexibility in the deck. Normally I wouldn't grab it up, but I think here it's quite good. Same with Gearsmith Guardian. It's a good 5. It's probably the last 5 we'll need. It will be a second 5/5 on 5, which will make the Thornhide Wolves the weakest 5 we have, which is pretty great, because it's still pretty good in this format. Moving into the next pack, I think it's a pretty easy Scholar of Stars here. Not too much to say about that one. It's a decent 4-drop for sure. There's a Manalith, which we could use both to accelerate into our bigger drops, and we could also, again, utilize it with the Skilled Animator. The one thing about Skilled Animator is, remember, it's a 1/3 for 3. It's not good. You want to make sure your deck has hits for that particular card. So you definitely want to maximize the amount of chances you have to hit with it. Manalith does that. On the other hand, the Boros deck is one of the best decks in the format, if not the best deck in the format. In my opinion, it is the best deck in the format, full stop. I think the next closest good deck is not close. I think you can build a medium to poor Boros deck and compete with a very good deck in another set of colors. Now, if you feel differently, let me know in the comments if you feel like something's a little better than that, or you feel like I'm way overselling the power of Boros. But most of the good cards are common. Like we see Boggart Brute at common, Inspiring Charge at common, the Gallant Knight, Gallant Cavalry at common, Goblin Motivator at common, Goblin Investigator at common. All these cards make a million things, and then you have Angel of the Dawn as a common, Inspiring Charge, Trumpet Blast. They're all commons. The whole deck is commons. You can get Shock and Electrify at common. You just don't need much for that deck to really get paid off. So I think it's worth an uncomfortable chill at this point in time. Maybe I'm wrong. If you think I am, let me know. Cancel. I'm going to throw it on the board for now because I feel like this is a deck we're going to be tapping out fairly regularly with, so I'm not really huge on it. We didn't grab that Lightning Strike, so I really don't see a reason to grab the dual land here, but I will grab a Sea Serpent in case we're in some kind of mirror match and we need to go big instead of, we need to go tall instead of wide. Just picking up some cards that are on color here. Alright, well I missed. I actually put that in the main for now because we are a little light on 2s. Alright, so we're into pack 3. We have some definite work to do. We want to grab removal if possible. We have 20 cards right now. I don't think all of them will make the deck, and that includes 1 land, which I'm going to slide down here. So we have 19 cards. I don't think all of them will make the deck, though I think a lot of them will. So I think a lot of them are pretty darn good. I'd like to do a little bit more prioritizing of green, especially removal, over blue if possible, to keep the numbers a little keep the numbers a little distinct. I think it's pretty easy to declare dominance here. This can punch through. It's kind of a win condition. It's something we really need to finish the game off, because right now we don't have a good finisher. Supreme Phantom is totally an awesome card. It's good, it's cheap, it blocks well, it just, like, chews up Thopters. It does everything you want a flyer to do in this format. In my opinion, I think it's very good. But I think Declare Dominance is just a higher priority pickup for us right now, because we need a way to win a game. Like, we have to win games. It's plain and simple. It's what we're here to do, right? It's limited. You're not building a cool deck. It's not EDH. You're not building a fun deck. You're trying to win games of Magic. That's just the way it is. Sadly, this pick isn't really too good, and the uncommons are nuts. Herald of Faith is great. Murder is one of the best uncommons, and Vampire Sovereign, which Brian David Marshall calls, I think, a pretty good name, and it's Siege Flyno, making fun of its Siege Rhino-esque ability. I think all three of these are 100% awesome cards, and we are unfortunately not taking any of them. There's also a Luminous Bonds and Angel of the Dawn, which are both fantastic. So this is a white and black pack through and through. We're just stuck on the fringes, so we're going to grab an Even Wind Guide, or Even Wind Mage. Most unfortunately. So let's see what we got next. Another Wall of Mist is not an exciting pickup. Another Thornhide Wolves is not an exciting pickup. And a Totally Lost is not an exciting pickup. So this is not exactly where we want to be. These are like, this is where I'm really hoping I can grab like an impactful 2-drop. Or something along those lines. An Omen Speaker. I'd even take the 2/2 Vigilant Greenwood Sentinel, I think. Any of those I'd take here. And unfortunately, I just don't have them all. So I'm going to grab another Wall of Mist for the board this time. Just in case, because I do fear the Boros deck that much. Alright, so this pack again, very light. We're just going to grab a Dwindle out of it. We are definitely struggling to get playables, in green especially. We have one Daggerback. I'm going to grab a second one here, because I think it's maybe a little better than the Wind Mage. I may be underselling the Wind Mage, but in green-blue especially, it's not that high impact of a play. Okay, here's a Greenwood Sentinel. That's pretty good. Bone to Ash is quite good, but unfortunately we're going to be kind of curving out, so I want to try to maximize our 2-drops if possible. So we've gotten to enough playables. Another Greenwood is, I think, going to be what the Doctor ordered over a Titanic Growth. I don't mind the... Okay, now we're seeing some 2-drops flow. Alright, Omen Speaker, get in there. This is all pretty good. Okay, so we grabbed the Daggerback previously, so I'll probably grab one for the board. Again, it's good against Boros. We'll just slip it in and take out one of our higher drops. Gearsmith Guardian, in case we're against control and we need more impactful spells to come down. That's where we're going to go. I'll just grab a Reliquary Tower for the collection, I guess. Wall of Mist number 400 is fine. This is reasonable playable on the board. Invoke the Divine, I can't really splash for, and a Final Swamp. This is going to be a tough deck to win with. Like I said, it's tough to really beat the Boros deck with a deck like this. We do have a decent amount of 2-drops, and I think that's where we need to kind of start trimming a little bit, because I don't think I think we can manage to drop our Wall of Mist here. I do think Omen Speaker, Druid of the Cow, and 2 Greenwood Sentinels are exactly kind of where we want to be. I don't mind the Diamond Mare there either. On our 3s, we really don't have too many. We have Uncomfortable Chill is kind of the most medium pick. I think we can drop a Gearsmith Guardian out of there, because it's already a 5/5. It doesn't need to be animated in any way. I think all these picks are reasonable. We could potentially drop a Thornhide Wolves. Let me do a quick creature count, because I always end up light on creatures in this format. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're kind of on the cusp with creatures. I don't want to cut creatures if I can help it. So right now we have 41. We just need to make one more cut. We're going to drop a green source, and we're going to put in our stream that I kept out of the deck, just so I could know exactly how many cards we did have. So we just need to drop one card. I don't know. All these cards are, like, it's not bad. Like, this isn't a bad collection of cards. I think this is all pretty serviceable. We have, for non-creatures, Declare Dominance, Explosive Apparatus, Metamorphic Alteration, Rabid Bite, Talons. Maybe Talons goes. I really don't think we need it with the Declare Dominance. we're not really trying to go too tall. So I think that could be the deck. Decent amount of 2s, decent amount of 3s, pretty bad amount of 4s, and then 5s to compensate. But hopefully we can get a Druid down. Maybe try to excel us up a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. It's always a crapshoot with these kind of decks. It's just, you can't have that Boros. It's going to have Boggart Brutes, 3 Boggart Brutes, an Angel of the Dawn, 2 Goblin Investigators, a Lightning Strike, a couple Shocks, a nice Inspiring Charge. Like, just easy. I want easy mode, right? We want easy mode. So I got knocked down to silver rank because of a couple unexpected match errors that I had to report to WotC. So I'm hoping that they can alter my rank and take those losses away. Not that, again, I know it's a beta. It's not a big deal. But, I like to track my progress and how much I'm winning and losing that way. This is a fine hand. It's got Explosive Apparatus, Sky Scanner, Uncomfortable Chill. The only thing it doesn't cast is this Bristling Boar. And we have a decent shot to go ahead and hit more. Green is our most abundant source, as you can see there. Give them the hello, almost forgot. That's unacceptable to forget that. But in the middle of the thing, I'll miss it like 4 times or whatever. But, try to be nice early on. We'll see what we can cobble together. I think I'm going to... It depends on what they play, but I would lead with a Sky Scanner almost assuredly because there's no real other thing to play. Onake Ogre's a bit annoying, but not a big deal. We can tag it down with the Explosive Apparatus if need be. But for now, I'd rather just get cards. If opponent's on like a Steel and Sack style Rakdos deck, we're going to beat them with cards. So we're going to need that. I don't mind taking a quick hit for 4 here. Alright, no follow-up on 4 is kind of nice. We'll play us a Scholar of Stars. It was a good draw. It's one of the more efficient ones. I was going to play the Boar. This draws us a card. No reason not to play that one. Keep the cards flowing. We'll see if we bite a Shock or a Spores or something along those lines. But if we do, we do. No big deal. I'm not serving for 1 here. Alright, no Strangling Spores, no Electrify. We're in good shape here. I will block with Scholar of Stars. It is a slight trade down in terms of mana, but our guy drew us a card. May have a Sure Strike here. Try to keep their Ogre alive, and I'm totally fine with that. Nope, they went ahead and traded off. And they follow up with a Fire Elemental. Okay, a couple options here. We can Skilled Animator. We can make our Apparatus a 5/5, and then we could Rabid Bite if we wanted to get the Fire Elemental off the board. Kind of an attractive line. We can play Gearper Guide or Bristling Boar. They're a little mana inefficient. So maybe we just go for the Skilled Animator play. It seems like the best play to me. Okay, it always makes me nervous when it half auto selects things. And now we can get in for 6. So not too bad. A good set of tempo plays, and that's really kind of what we want to be doing in this green-blue deck. We just want to be making more important and bigger curve hits than our opponent. Weird they didn't go for the Skilled Animator. I don't know why they left me with the... They left me with the Skilled Animator would have taken care of the... I mean, maybe they just wanted the removal spell off the board. I'm not real sure, but that seems a little strange to me. Opponent seems land flooded, maybe? We'll just keep serving. Higher Blade is totally reasonable. Don't really see a need to Uncomfortable Chill here. We get in a bunch of damage. We get to play another big threat. If at any point we draw a land, we get to play 2 spells. It doesn't behoove our opponent too much right now to be in the position they're in. Looks like they may have something. Reassembling Skeleton. love reassembling skeleton. Can't really swing here, unfortunately, for them. Unfortunately for us, we really can't do much. So I think we're best served running out 2 spells. So let's combat. Can't attack with our boar, unfortunately, because it trades with Hired Blade. Right now we trade with nothing. They can chump block with the reassembling skeleton if they wish. See if opponent's got action. I will chill here, because I don't see a reason not to. It replaces itself. It takes down the Hired Blade. It comes back, doesn't kill off our wolves. Works pretty well. Opponent gets to shoot our Sky Scanner down. So they got 6 power, 7 power. Declare Dominance will put wolves out of the range of nonsense. So, unfortunately, we can't play it. But, you know. Let's see. We can Dwindle plus Metamorphic Alteration, if we wish. I don't see a need to do that yet. We'll attack with everything. Kind of try to keep our opponent's board as clear as possible. Okay. Go for the straight across. They can't reanimate their skeleton here. I wonder if I put this on and it becomes a copy of the Basilisk with 2 damage on it. Will it die? Yes, it does. Okay, cool. It should have, because it became 2 with a 2 toughness with 2 damage on it. I just didn't know if there was a weird backwards, maybe it became a new creature, so all damage was removed from it. I'm not really sure. Oh man, if they're bringing back the skeleton in their main phase tapped, that's not good. You can reassemble the skeleton at instant speed. So I don't know what they're up to if they brought it back at sorcery speed. Okay, they are in big trouble. They're dead if they don't have a shock. Let's see, because we can declare dominance to pump, and we can get in for 9 damage here. So ideally they would bring back the skeleton one more time tapped. Okay, we win. Nice. Oh, I forgot we needed the other green. How convenient. Okay, got him dead there. They definitely stumbled in that mid-game. I don't know if they were flooded or just had a bizarre assemblage of cards in their hand, but they really didn't commit a lot to the board for a few key turns there. Alright, so opponent is on, looks to be more like a Rakdos mid-range, though they could very easily go a little bit wider without too much problem. I'm trying to see if there's, I don't really think there's much we need to bring in. Their deck's a little slow, so cancel could be relevant. But Thornhide matched up nicely against their creatures. Baloth will match up nicely. I mean, Boar was kind of meh. So maybe we drop cancel, take out Boar, but I'm kind of low to take out a creature if I can avoid it. Uncomfortable Chill's pretty bad, so let's take out Chill and put in cancel. If they end up going a little wider in game 2, we'll make that swap back. But they're not going very wide, it seems like. They're trying to do what we're doing, and that's more just curve out and try to get value that way. So see what Sean JCW can do. I think this is fine. Omen Speaker really gives us a lot of chances to hit our green source in enough time to be able to play the Basilisk and the Boar. And if we don't, we can just hold up and cancel. Not the worst. Not the best, especially on the draw, but not the worst either. So let's see what opponent can do. Yes, it is your turn, opponent. All right, very good. So, Baloth's a good draw, pending we can find our forests. Doom Dissenter's good, not great, because we're going to easily outclass it with our Omen Speaker, and the Omen Speaker kind of brick walls the Dissenter and the zombie. So, I'm going to sadly move Skilled Animator to the bottom because we have no artifacts to animate right now, but I want that forest to be able to cast a creature on 3. I will declare a blocker. If they have a Sure Strike or something, that's totally fine. Abnormal Endurance, we saw it of them previously. If they want a Shock, no problem with that. Alright, we'll commit a Basilisk to the board here. And we'll pass the turn. No attacks. See if they drop a Hired Blade at instant speed. Yep, there he is. Basilisk matches up well against the Hired Blade. I have no problem with that. Yeah, we'll just try to trade up with the Hired Blade and we'll take 2. Neonate, no big deal. Alright, cool. We get through that relatively unscathed. Bristling Boar, pretty easy here. And no attacks. And now we've kind of shut off attacks from our opponent. They play a Fire Elemental. It's fine, but not anything to write home about. We'll attack with the Boar, see what they do. I have no problem trading with Fire Elemental. Okay, and we'll play Vigilant Baloth. We'll see if we can keep it alive. They did have a Lich's Caress previously. Okay, they have another Fire Elemental. They're down to 1 card in hand. Now we're going to try to play a little bit more carefully, and we're going to try to hold up cancel if possible. So, I see no reason to run the Baloth into the Fire Elemental. It's a little bit better for us than the Fire Elemental is. Though granted, our best blocks really aren't that. Reassembling Skeleton is fine. Even if we counter that, it is what it is. And try to, unfortunately, trade off here. If they're going to offer the trade, I'm willing to take it. And we'll cancel their Sure Strike. So it's a 2 for 2. Pretty clean. Prefer my Baloth not trade with a Sure Strike. Alright, we'll just commit a Thornhide Wolves. And that gives us the best creature on the board, full stop. Even Gang Blocks can't stop it, so it's pretty nice. No attacks. Don't really feel like trading with half a card for a Greenwood Sentinel right now, or just a chump on the with a Neonate. And he's going to take us to 19 apiece. No problems there. And we have our Rabid Bite on tap. Alright. Another Doom Dissenter. Still does not give profitable gang blocks. I imagine likely just a block with the Reassembling Skeleton. I see no need to Rabid Bite here. When next turn we can start sending in the Basilisk and the Thornhide Wolves if we need to. Yeah, as predicted, block with the Skeleton and they'll just reassemble it. No big deal. And we have plenty of ways to punch through. We put our Skilled Animator on the bottom, but we have a Rabid Bite for anything too sketchy that comes out. Let's go ahead and swing both of our creatures. Curious to see if we'll just go 1-1 chump, 1-1 chump. Maybe they'll try to double block the... oh, there's going to go Zombie Token on the Basilisk. No. Okay, double block. They took the 4. Interesting. Immediately reassembling their skeleton. Seems a little hasty to do, but I'm just going to Sky Scanner. I'll play out a forest. I'll end my turn. 2 zombies don't really bother me. The Omen Speaker holds them off pretty effectively. It doesn't feel too bad. The wolves can keep coming in if they attack with anything. It's just trying to find a good way in, because the Neonate and the Sky Scanner kind of bring the board to parity. Now, if they want to trade wolves for their entire board, I'm fine with that. It'll be 2 zombies and a skeleton. I have 0 problems with that. And again, I see no reason to use the cards in our hand here. There's just not a good enough threat on the board. We'll find a way to punch past, what they have going on. We have removal spells. Maybe we don't. Lich's Caress is a good draw. Really doesn't help them turn the corner too desperately. But, if they want to attack with both zombies, they certainly can. We'll block one with an Omen Speaker. We'll take the other. Okay, Gear Per Guide is meh. I'm going to go ahead and get this Neonate off the board. I'm just going to go ahead and use it. I just want to get that. It's just annoying enough that I want to get that off the board here. Should have attacked with Greenwood Sentinel. They would have blocked with Skeleton, but that would have been fine, because they wouldn't have had mana to reassemble it. I think this time I'll offer trades across, because now the Gear Per Guide can start dinging them for 3. If they want to reassemble the skeleton after they block the Gear Per Guide, I'm cool with that. I think from this point, I'll probably just end up holding any lands I get from here, because I don't think we need much in the way of lands. Even if we draw something that draws us a card and then another spell, I think we have most of that covered. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to keep up 2 1/3s. We have an unblockable 3/2 and a 1/1 that's going to get in for 4 every turn. Yep, that's fine. Open the Graves is no big deal. They can swing 11 times with the Reassembling Skeleton if they wish. They have an unblockable 1/1, same as us, and we have an unblockable 3/2 to go with it. That's no problem. Cool. So let's combat, attack. Oh, and the turn there. And we're definitely cleaning up a little quicker now. We can offset this 13. Oof. Keep serving up 4. This time I'll play a forest, not to sandbag too many land. Hostile Minotaur. Actually quite nice on this board. They may end up drawing out our Dwindle. Why didn't the Hostile Minotaur come in? Okay. Not really understand that. Oh, because I want to block the Gearper Guide. I get it. Just keep serving in. Next turn we can activate it on multiple creatures, the Gearper Guide that is, and punch through the last little bits of damage we need. So as long as we don't draw a removal spell for the Gearper Guide, we're in good shape. We'll see. Okay, good draw from the opponent. I don't know if it'll be good enough. They need a big creature here. Okay, did not find one. Alright, we take down that match. Here. Alright. Moving on up. With our blue-green, tempo-y kind of deck. And with the blue-green deck, and you saw it in that game, it's really important not to waste your spells until you absolutely have to. If we can't cobble together another way to overcome something, then we need to use a removal spell or a counter on it. If we just think that we have a good shot at it, then, you know, we can figure out some other cards that'll put us in an advantageous position, then we need to go for that over wasting a spell that's very impactful. So we need to be careful here. So we're mono playing a Johnny's. It's all a Johnny's all the time here. Right, we get to go first. We have Bristling Boar, Animator, Dwindle, and 4 land. It's not a great keep, but it's a hand I think it's just can't really mulligan a hand like that in Limited. There's a level of greed I'm willing to go to in Limited, and this is, you know, there's enough spells here that, you know, no big deal. So we'll see what opponent's got. Alright, got a hello back. We're 50%. Alright, so far, easy life. Opponent plays a forest, plays another forest, we play forest, we end our turn. We won't commit a drop until 4th turn. Opponent on the red-green. See what they have for us. They have a Centaur Courser. That'll line up pretty nicely against our boar. See what opponent can do here. Maybe an Oaken Form. They're just offering up a trade. I will not block here because I can play a 5/5, which invalidates it pretty easily. Okay. Let's attack with the boar. If they want to trade it for the ogre, I'm fine with that. Okay, they do not either. And we'll play a Vigilant Baloth. Love this art. Good art on that one. Uriah Voth. Nice work. Okay. That kind of disincentivizes a bunch of attacks from our opponent. So if they double block with the wolves and the ogre, and I chill, they're effed. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack with the Baloth. Because right now, it's if they want to, they have to trade off 2 creatures for it, which is a solid reason for me to attack. I'm even thinking about the triple block. Oh, I do want a comfortable chill. And I'll play Aven Windmage. And that's not a bad draw if that another castable spell was a pretty sick draw there. I would have loved an artifact. Okay. Opponent's deck pretty consistent. And again, no reason to dwindle here. We're not in fear of a mind rot or any kind of similar effect. Opponent definitely not going to be splashing for one, I can tell you that much. So, not too worried about letting cards sit in my hand. We just need to find a good time to use them. We want to take advantage of things when we can. Opponent's got some meaty dudes. What did they do? Okay. Okay. That card is quite good. Becomes a 6/7. So that'll probably have to get dwindled. This is just instant or sorcery, so there's no point in doing that pre-combat if it was just like straight prowess. Which, for whatever reason, prowess is a thing. They refuse to put it on that creature. But, you know, you gotta do something. Don't want to give the opponent a ton to do. Making a -4/3, I don't mind giving them a 1/1. We do need to find an artifact or something else. I might be eating a shock here. Druid of Horns, okay. Opponent definitely on a red-green go wide, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Trumpet Blast out of them. I don't know why I'm playing this pre-combat, but, you know. I'm more focused on what can I draw to get out of this than I am anything else. So opponent right now 6 creatures that are eligible to attack reasonably versus our 3. So opponent can punch through a whole lot of damage if they choose to flunge. So I really got to be hesitant about that. And they will flunge sooner than later. So they're not going to let us take this victory easily with just, you know, some flying punches. I think this can go to the bottom, and I think that can stay on top. Again, no artifacts, which is a little disheartening, but that's okay. Right now they can't kill us with a flunge. They'd have to have multiple Trumpet Blasts. And again, I don't know if they're on Trumpet Blasts, but they're on that style of deck, but you know, you never know. So what am I the most worried about? Wolves, could be Havoc Devils. I can just make it into a 1/1. I think I'm just going to throw out the animator, and next turn I'll draw an artifact, but I just want to be around in case they do flunge. The card I'm most afraid of is Declare Dominance. The card I think is more likely is Trumpet Blast. So I just want to be ready for that. Trumpet Blast obviously a common versus Declare Dominance an uncommon. Colossal Majesty is fine. They have 1/4 out, 2 4s out. Okay. Dwindle. If they only have 1/4 out, I'd consider dwindling here. But I will dwindle something, because again, I am very afraid of a lot of things. And I don't mind showing the opponent, like, I have some kind of... The Metamorphic Alteration is probably the biggest piece of information we've given them. Otherwise, this is a pretty stock, standard blue-green deck that we're playing. So, let's see if the opponent's Colossal Majesty is paid off. They have one more turn they can take a hit with the Wind Mage safely. Like, it would have to be, like, Divination into something for us to kill them. Or, like, Sift into something. And if it's Sift into something, it has to be something kind of medium. Could be a pump spell, could just be like a Titanic Growth. basically is, I think, the thing they'd be the most worried about. Could be an Oaken form. Could be Blanchwood. So a lot of things that pump. Spark-Tongue Dragon. Not bothering to pump there. Okay. So now we are very much stalled because we can't punch through in the air anymore. But opponent also can't really afford to punch in through the air. But they have the Colossal Majesty that is drawing them cards. Okay, still have a Rabbit Bite we can draw to. The opponent draws a Nug for 7. Okay, we have a game. Barf. Opponent's got just way too many blockers. We have no kind of evasion on our creatures, so it is definitely stalled ground game here. Highland game. Colossal Dreadmaw. The Dreadmaw and the Dragon will definitely break some stalemates. Okay. Oof. Opponent just way out muscling us in terms of board and card advantage. It's really unfortunate. But, you know, the Colossal Majesty drew them into stuff they needed. And now they've kind of, I don't want to say they put the game away, but they've made it much harder now. Because one punch really won't do it. One punch! Wow, they're not swinging with the 6/6. Extremely conservative. Well, I guess 6/6 just even trades with one card. Oh my goodness gracious. This is nuts. I think we've drawn 5 lands in a row. Not good. Not going to win a game that way. We have played 2, 3, 4, 5 spells. Our opponent's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 spells. So they have definitely outspelled us. They've outcarded us. So they pretty much have us ticked off in every way. Just, not ticked off, but, you know, they've ticked off boxes. Way more boxes than we had for as far as how we're doing this game. They've drawn more cards. They've cast more spells. That's frequently how you're going to win a game of Magic. Is drawing more cards and casting more spells. I'll play this. Opponent's card quality is quite high. They have more uncommons than we do. Haven't seen any rares out of them yet. We got to play a rare this game with our Metamorphic Alteration. Might be a flunge here to get the last 2 points in. Which I think would be correct. We only have 5 creatures. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're not too far ahead. They only need to punch through 2 additional damage. So I think it's correct. But we can blow some stuff up. So we might be able to stem the bleeding, and all that may get through is the dragon. Looks like they're going for a far more conservative attack. Okay. I don't really know what's attacking now because of 2 rows of stuff. Just go for the dragon. Go for a maul or go for the dragon. The Dreadmaw doesn't make any difference. It's either all or one. And the scary thing is if I live through that attack, and if I have any way to crack back for any damage, that becomes so unpalatable. Like, that could just be a game winner right there. Rogue's Gloves will not do it. So we move on to game 2. Okay. Crippling Chill or Uncomfortable Chill, probably not that good against this particular opponent. The Rogue's Gloves may not be great. For stalled boards, I mean, like Basilisk would be quite good. Talons is quite good to get a couple things across that I need. I didn't see any enchantments out of them. Could be Cancel for something big. Apparatus is pretty poor against them, so we'll bring in Cancel. That leaves us, what, 2 targets now for Skilled Animator. Maybe drop Skilled Animator, bring in Frilled Sea Serpent. Help break through big stalls. Yeah, that seems reasonable to me. So Sea Serpent's got decent stats to match up against their 5s. And now we kind of know at least 2 of their really high impact plays that we need to watch out for. So they're a little bit slower, so we can try to slow things down a little bit ourselves. No lands, obvious mulligan there. Gotta have land. Especially on the play, I'd like 2 lands if possible, even 3. On a 6 card hand, I'd take 2 or 3 land. Wouldn't complain about 4 land. Consider 1 land. Yep, gotta keep it. Sea Serpent, we're like a million miles away from casting. So, we'll see what we can do. We definitely need some good hits here. The problem is with this hand is we kind of need islands and we kind of need threats. So, island unlocks threats, potentially. We'll see. This hand definitely has a ways to go. Okay. Basilisk easily attacks by the Druid of the Cowl. I think there's a better chance we can draw more islands in the future, and I just really need some gas. If I had an untapped blue source right now, I would consider... Well, maybe not, because it's just scry. It's really hard to want to keep... Even though we do need a second island, it's really hard to want to keep that island around. Okay, just a Druid of the Horns. I don't mind trading 2-2 for 2-3 on this board. We'll see what we can muster up from here. Fortunately, Scholar of Stars doesn't draw us a card because there's no artifact. We definitely dropped the density of artifacts down. We cut 2 when we sideboarded, but 3-2 still matches up pretty well against our opponent's deck, so I can't really cut 3-2, even though it becomes much worse without the artifact. It's just kind of the cost of doing business. Okay, opponent's got a big old fat. 5-6. Sadly, I think we're triple blocking here. Before that gets out of hand. Oh, why did I triple block? Derp. That's a 5-6. Hey. Sometimes math evades you. Yeah, I think we lose this one, unfortunately. The Daggerback will disincentivize an attack from the Druid of Horns, but me just like casually throwing away multiple cards kind of locks this one up, especially on a Multu 6. Opponent smartly identifying not to attack with their giant Druid. And commits another 6. Yeah, this game's over. Yep. I won't waste your time out there, people, in viewer land. That's a lose. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking with the 5-6. Yeah, I got it. 6 power. 5 power, 6 toughness. Oy vey. Oy vey. Oy vey. Let's see what we can do. One important thing, you make a mistake, you roll with it, you rock it, you move on. Things happen, no big deal. Don't let a mistake define you. Don't let a mistake define the rest of your night. As far as, playing, A, having a good time, and B, don't let that impact your decision trees while you move along in your match. Because we're all going to make mistakes. It's Magic. There's a whole lot of things to juggle. Like, in my head, juggling, getting that creature off the board, 5. Get that creature off the board, 5. Got it. Okay, let's get that off the board. It'll cost me 2. It's an even 2 for 2. No problem. Oops, that's 5. 6. Important point of note. So, that's fine. I make math errors consistently. I'm not a mathematician. So, one lander, even with an explosive apparatus, on the play, unfortunately, is a mulligan, because we could just not play anything else the rest of the game. So, as much as I'd like to keep that, our deck's not low enough to the ground to want to keep that. This is a much better keep. I think I have to throw Dwindle on the bottom, because it's off color and a 3-cost spell. So, unfortunate, but that's the cost of doing business. Opponent plays Island, not a big deal. Cool. We got 2-drop into 3-drop. Not bad, not bad. See what other color our opponents are rocking if they choose to show us. They do not. Omen Speaker? Surge Mare. Surge Mare, good. We'll scan the sky. No attacks. I'm not going to try to check the opponent. See if they're brave. Okay, blue-red. It's a tough color combination to play. Aviation Pioneer. Surge Mare cannot be blocked by green creatures. So that's an important point of note. No attacks. No need to get in there with the Sky Scanner, I don't think. Because they'd be probably in the face of this Wind Mage, be more tempted to trade off the Thopter. Granted, the Sky Scanner has drawn us a card. Maybe they wouldn't have traded because of the Scholar Stars in their hand. Play Thornhide Wolves. Next turn, if they don't commit anything insane to the board and they tap low, I may consider going for a Declare Dominance. Because we can Declare Dominance and get in for 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. And wipe. Could be Scholar. Could get Pioneer. Okay. With the Snapping Drake. Makes it all the more tempting. So the question is, do we want to declare dominance on the Thornhide Wolves, bump that up into 7 power, and 2, 4, 6, 7? I think that's probably the way to go. It lets us sneak in a little less damage, but I think that's okay. Everything has to block the Thornhide Wolves. 3, 6, 7. There's exactly 8 toughness on the board, or 8 power on the board. So they will kill our Thornhide Wolves in combat. Okay. Get us a 3 for 2 out of that one. Because the Thopter was part of the Aviation Pioneer. And we'll get to, more importantly, punch through a bunch of damage. So, not too bad, not too bad. Shame that the Thornhide Wolves didn't have one more toughness. Okay, if they're willing to spend mana on the Surge Mare and attack and tap it and take 2 more damage this turn, that means that they're looking for land, would be my guess, because they want that loot. So I would not be surprised to see a spell hit the bin. If they play a little creature, it's definitely tempting to Rabid Bite, because we want to get those little creatures off the board ASAP. Because we want to beat this opponent before they make their land drops. Like this creature, right now would disincentivize an attack. Well, not anymore. We want to get this opponent dead as fast as possible. Okay, there we go. Before they draw out of their slump. We want to hit them as hard as we can to get them out as fast as possible. Okay. We didn't really see much out of our opponent that game. We saw that they were blue-red. So they're probably some kind of Spells Matter style deck. Evasion's a real thing. Don't really see the need to bring in too much or take too much out yet, because we don't really know what they're up to. I don't really have any more efficient ways to deal with flyers. This Uncomfortable Chill could probably come out against a red-blue opponent, and we can just drop in a cancel. That probably lines up a little bit better against what they're doing than the Uncomfortable Chill does. But you never know. They could end up playing a bunch of Goblin Instigators and getting at us for a bunch. You never know. I doubt it, but you never know. 2 Basilisks, 3 Forests, Diamond Mare on 2, 3, 4. We can make drops all the way up to 4th turn before we need a land. If we hit a blue source in the interim, we cast Even Wind Mage. We're in good shape. So there we go. Diamond Mare into Even Wind Mage. Diamond Mare will name green, by the way. First Diamond Mare I've ever cast. We'll see how it lines up. Okay, we have an Even Wind Mage ourselves. No attacks. We've drawn plenty of lands. So no problems with that. The only problem will be if we just keep drawing a bunch more land. At this point, we want to draw some of our more high-impact spells, if possible. If they attack with the Wind Mage, I have no choice, really, but to take it, because I'm not going to throw the Wind Mage into block, and they're just like, oh, and I'll anticipate. Oh, great. Just lost my Wind Mage for an anticipate. It's too valuable. Okay, Naked Scholar Stars. Alright. No big deal. I like playing the land afterwards because don't want the opponent to know if we drew that land or he had land in hand. Just hiding a little bit of information. Where you can, it doesn't hurt. It's free. So it's just good turn order to kind of do so. Opponent doesn't really want to attack with Scholar Stars because we get a kind of a sweet double block on them. Happy to take it here because we get to crack back with 2 things in the air, hopefully, if they don't play something big like a Horizon Scholar, Snapping Drake, etc., etc. Exclusion Mage. Please bounce my Sky Scanner. I know, they're going to bounce the Wind Mage. That is okay. We're going to play a Skilled Animator, because we're going to start chomping through them with a gigantic Sky Scanner. If they have an Essence Scatter, I'm going to be sad panda. Whew, I am a sad panda. That would have been a beating. That would have been an absolute beating. But here it's not a big deal. They can attack with Scholar and Wind Mage. Surprised to see the Exclusion Mage come in. I mean, I guess. Okay, that was the card we did not want to see, Horizon Scholar. We'll see what we can do against it. Dwindle plays. I can definitely... Rabid Bite plays. Any of those things are good. Okay, see what we can do. See if we can hold the opponent off here. Again, if they swing with just the Wind Mage, I will not block. Let's throw 2 blocks on the Exclusion Mage. They get to trade for our Sky Scanner. No big deal. I'm sure they probably don't care too much. 1-for-1 trade. Wait to gain back a couple life with these Daggerback Basilisks. Just Essence Scatter? Okay. A lot easier to play around an Essence Scatter when you know your opponent's got it. I think we're just going to go for a Rabid Bite. We're down enough in the life race that I think taking their flying threats out is probably a good play. Especially while their shields are down. Okay. The opportunity to block, not unreasonable. We got to pump in with our Raven Wind Mage, so this saves them the most damage possible. If they swing with Scholar, I'll block with Basilisk. If they swing with both, I'll block with Diamond Mare. Guardian quite large. Opponent again tapped out. Basilisk will hold back attacks on the Gearsmith Guardian. And now we have the Dwindle in case it plays around our opponent's Essence Scatter quite nicely. And try to keep it that way. I don't know if they'll give us the opportunity to play around it any further, but we're going to do it while we can. If they attack with the 5/5, obviously we'll block. That's not even close. See if opponent chooses to block with Thopter, just take it. I'm just going to end the turn here. No reason to run the Sentinel out. If I get 2 creatures in the turn, I can use this as a bait creature. Meaning that I can cast it first and try to cast a more important creature, a second spell in the turn to play around Essence Scatter further. So I'm smelling a Sure Strike. Is what I'm smelling. But I'm going to block the most things I can. Okay, I was wrong. I wonder what the follow-up here is that would mean they wanted to kill the Basilisk so badly. I guess maybe they're just thinking that... See if this draws out the Essence Scatter. They may not because it's not a very high impact spell. They may because they just want to try to have a clean board to attempt to race us. Anything's possible. Okay, there's the Essence Scatter on that. I'll try to cast this follow-up one. And that'll stick. Okay, so we got down a Greenwood Sentinel. We got the Essence Scatter out of their hand. And right now the board is pushed a little bit in our favor. We'll take 1 easy block on that. Oh, they have a follow-up here. Won't be Wind Reader Swing, so they would have cast it before they attacked with the Flyer. Could be another Horizon Scholar. Oh, Banefire. Okay. That explains it. Okay, that spell cannot be countered. Okay, So we know a little bit more about what the opponent's doing. Bad news is that really doesn't help us all that much. They have enough artifact stuff that I'm willing to board out 1 apparatus for 1 naturalize. And that's about all I'm going to do against this particular opponent, because they really don't have a whole lot going on. It just looks like one big Banefire kind of, and just some tempo-y, curve consideration kind of stuff. Kind of like the deck we have. AK, not spectacular. Yes, looks great. Looks like a great hand. Rogue's Gloves into Skilled Animator. Start beating down with the Rogue's Gloves. That's not something you see every day. I'm going to take a little bit more conservative of a line. Because I drew a 2-drop, I'm going to take the Sentinel. Because the reason is because if I animate her on the 3rd turn and they have the Essence Scatter, that kind of blows us out. So I don't really want to do that if I can help it. Or I can take a little bit more conservative of a route, play the Skyscanner, draw a card, and then start trying to chew through the air with Rogue's Gloves. Start drawing cards and just chip away at them if they don't have a Wind Mage or something similar. If they do, if they tap out for a Wind Mage, I can Skilled Animator on the Skyscanner and attack. So that's pretty good. Okay. No follow-up land. Oh boy. Huh. I'm going to go ahead and play the Skyscanner, or play this on the Skyscanner. Try to just pummel him. Next turn I'm going to stick probably with the Rogue's Gloves plan. Just try to punish him real hard. Oh, that was a very hasty concession by the opponent. Okay. I mean, I don't give them a lot of turns to draw out of it, but they had to have brought a Naturalize or something, right? I don't know. Got lucky there. Those are the kind of starts we want. So, see if we can sneak out another win. Love to sneak out another win. That would be definitely positive. I mean, any wins we can get from here is a good thing. Because our deck is probably, like I said, it's not kind of ideal. It's lacking of... And that's the problem I've had with M19. And again, let me know in the comments below if you're in the same boat. I feel like a lot of these decks that aren't just the Boros deck don't tend to come together because the capacity... The commons have the capacity to be very, very good or very, very poor. Whereas Boros all kind of ride this line because even the medium ones get boosted by some of the other commons like Trumpet Blast and Inspired Charge. So... I feel like they have a much more just kind of straight line in the world of their commons. Like they have Starcrown Stags, they have Pegasus Coursers at the top of their list, and even towards the bottom they have like Instigators. They have all kinds of stuff that it's just like, oh, these are still reasonably playable. So we got a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3-drop that bolsters and our opponent is mulliganing down pretty low. So I think we're going to be able to just take them down pretty hard with this Skilled Animator plan. Give them the hello and not get a hello back, it looks like, because they're probably salty over their pretty stumbly start. Understandable. We'll see what we can cobble together here. Right now, it looks like a gigantic explosive apparatus. I got beat down by an explosive apparatus. Harumph! Wham, wham, wham. Suck on this 5/5 explosive apparatus. It's like a grenade that is like... I can't even explain how that's doing that much. Okay. We're in the world of hasty concessions here. M19 can be a very dirtily format, and our opponent is on in my opinion, the by far dirtiest deck, which is black-white life gain. So, it's a hasty concession to be sure, but maybe not a premature one, depending on the texture of their hand. They did mull to 5. So, not great. Let's see. I don't even know what we bring in here. I'm debating if Cancel's better than Uncomfortable Chill. Like, with Neonates and stuff, probably. When played against a single Boros deck, granted, I lost after our first win, and that was the best chance of playing Boros, probably, in our first 2 games. But we could play against... What I hate is when you get to 4 wins and you play against the Boros deck who took a loss, like, in their about to going 5-0. They just had, like, a couple bad hands, and you're just like, crap, I'm going to lose the heck out of this game. This is a pretty easy keep with the Basilisk, Gloves, Rabbit Bite, Baloth eventually. It's not as good as our first hand, but it's pretty darn good. We won't communicate with the opponent. They're probably still a little salty. Okay, this time their 1-3 is now a 3-1. No big deal. We get some Rogue's Gloves down. Play us a nice Basilisk on the 3rd turn. Swiftclaw, a lot of people are like really down on it. Now, I'm not saying it's a good card. Don't get me wrong. It is not that good of a card, but I think people are down on it more than they should be. Because I think it can sneak in a couple early points, especially in Boros. It can sneak in... It whacks you once, it's doing 3 points of damage. That's not bad. That's more than 10% of your life total. Like, that's really not too bad. Like, not bad at all. I'm not going to block here, and the reason is because I have 2 2-mana ways to deal with both of their creatures right now. Like, no big deal. I did tap for that poorly. We'll hold for now. Next turn I get to play a 5-5 that invalidates a lot of this stuff. I kind of pivoted because I was like, I don't really want to waste putting a thing. Like, I can make a 3-1 into a 2-1. Like, it's really not that good. I don't mind getting whomped on a little bit here. Black-white, you know what I mean? Like, they may have the Siege Flyno, the Vampire Sovereign. That's kind of bad. If they're on, like, super aggro plan, they could have a couple of the sorceries that do that. Okay, so now I feel a little bit better. This kind of disincentivizes a lot of attacks. If they attack with both, I'll throw the Vigilant Baloth in front of the Child of Night, and I'll throw the Dagger back in front of the Swiftclaw, because one of the only pumps they have is Unnatural Endurance. So that only gives a 2 pump. It'd be enough for the Swiftclaw to trade up with my Baloth. So if they swing with just one, I'm not real sure where I'll go with that. Well, this is a nothing, because I'm going to block with Daggerback Basilisk if they swing. Just disincentivizes a Baloth attack back. So, no big deal there. So, I'm just going to go ahead and combat with this Basilisk. See what they do here. If they trade with Child, I'm fine with that. We'll figure out a way to deal with the Swiftclaw. Macabre Waltz. Rise from the Grave. Okay. Opponent may feel a little bit back-footed. A little bit stalled. I'm just trying to think of a way to navigate around if this Metamorphic Alteration does anything. Right now it doesn't. So, no big deal yet. I don't feel bad wasting it. Or not wasting it. Okay. little bit of a hasty attack, it feels like, from our opponent. I don't know if that's right here. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get the Meteor Golem off the board. It's a little, like, kind of a ways to go around to get rid of a Meteor Golem, but that leaves them with a 2/2 and 1 card in hand, and us with a 3/3. If they attack with the 2/2 and have no follow-up, I can Rogue's Glove and attack and not get punished too badly for that. So we'll see what opponent's got as a follow-up. Angel of the Dawn. Okay, that's not good because it gives Vigilance. And it's also a flyer. So, plethora of reasons, that's bad. We'll see if we can draw a Dwindle. Dwindle plays. Skyscanner plays. Okay. I don't mind swinging in here. No big deal. Unfortunately, we can't hold back the Skyscanner to pair up with our apparatus here. Gravedigger. Kid seats are still just $5. So even if we draw a flyer, that's not good enough. I don't know if that... It just destroys a non-land permanent. Yeah, opponent controls. So that's not really too good. Okay. This is all semantics. I'm just going to attack to draw a card. Just want to see what I would have got. Okay. Alright, so the cancel is definitely the right choice. Opponent's deck's way better late than it is early. Unfortunately, I kind of can't punish that too much. Like, I could try to... Basilisk was insane against them. I'm going to definitely bring in another. What's kind of weak against them? Apparatus. I don't know if another Gearsmith will really be... Or if Gearsmith Guardian will be great against them. Gloves was kind of medium poor. Yeah, it's just... I mean, maybe a Gearsmith over a Sentinel, but putting us on the play, I'd like to maximize my 2 drops, if possible. So, we'll see. See what opponent can cobble together, see if we can punch through. We shall see. We shall see. That doesn't help. That does not help. 1 lander. Kind of where we ended up last time. Yep. It's a good one. No, sadly. Really don't like throwing away things if I can help it, but that feels like pretty easy bottom to me. Try to punish any kind of no 2 drop they have here with the Greenwood Sentinel. Okay, got to do that. Follow up with a Windmage. It's very hard for them to block. See what they have. Child of Night. I'm just going to try to aggro him out a little bit. It's a little aggressive, but I'm okay with that. We can kind of invalidate a few of the things they do. And if they're stuck on land especially. Okay, just a Knight's Pledge on there. That's not bad. That's not bad. So we can dwindle it into a nothing and then attack. Dwindle it into an 0-5 attack. They likely won't block because they still get to activate. But I'm just going to go ahead and combat with the Wind Mage. Play an Omen Speaker here. Try to find a couple land here. Oh, Gearper Guide is so tempting. Because it can help me punch through the rest of the damage I need. Yeah, I'm going to keep that one. Really didn't want to have to keep a non-land card, but that's definitely one of the higher impact ones I have. I have got to get this opponent dead. And Gearper Guide's a good way for me to be able to do that. Because now I can take 2 damage and turn it into 5 unblockable damage. That is 4 damage. So I have an opponent on a 3-turn clock right now. If they can't deal with the Guide or the Sentinel. Or they don't play something big enough to block the Guide. If they stumble on mana, we can definitely catch them here. Yeah, figures. But opponent didn't get to activate Neonate there. So a bit of a save. We can still commit a Dagger back. We can commit a Boar. Demon is actually one of the best things that we could have had them play. Now, our attack's got 100% better. So I like that. I like that. There it is. Siege Flyno. I've been mentioning it all match. I think with Declare Dominance in hand, I'll just build out my board. No reason to throw things at their creatures here when I can just dagger back, Declare Dominance, wipe their board, and get through potentially game-winning amounts of damage. Because I think they're going to be fully on the defensive here. Okay, they'll get to punch in a little bit of damage here with this, but I don't mind taking damage. Come on, deck. Just a land. Any untapped land. Because now they're to the point where they get close to clocking me. So they may not leave all their creatures untapped. So now it's getting dicey. I really need this untapped land, like, right now. Like, this draw needs to be an untapped land. Desperately. Then I feel like I can win the game. We shall see. But opponent may feel like they're comfortable attacking. It doesn't look like it. We'll see if they have a removal spell. Everything has to block the Basilisk. So that should be game. Yes, okay. Needed that land right then, and no other turn. opponent definitely feared the crackback, understandably so, and we managed to hurt him. Whew. Every win from here is good stuff. Okay, we managed to pay for our draft, so I don't feel as bad now. Getting to that third win is such a big deal. You're trying so hard to build at least a 3-2 draft deck in this format because you want to get your you want to be able to draft for free, right? What's better than drafting for free? Everybody likes draft. It's free draft of Arena for free. Who wouldn't love free Arena draft for free? So that's really important to me because I like to keep doing these videos for you, and I'd like to not have to spend all of my dollars, real life dollars, on gems in Arena to do so, when I can just, my goal forever is to just free roll draft in Arena forever. I bought the welcome pack, which was a phenomenal value for $5, and that is the only American dollars I've invested into Arena. And if you're good and you can, do that, you can try to free roll as long as you can. And if I had to pump more money back into it, I absolutely would, because it is worth the price of admission for drafts. And 1,500 gold you can buy at a reasonable price, or 1,500 gems you can buy at a reasonable price. Gets you plenty of drafts in. And M19, I've been stinking it up. My gems have definitely gone down quite a bit. Dominaria I had trouble with at first, but managed to kind of overcome the format. But this format I've just had trouble with because I just feel like I don't like to force Boros because I do feel like it's the best deck. And like I said earlier, I'd love to play on easy mode, but it's just, this is probably what we're playing against, right, is Boros. So, we'll see. But my guess would be Boros. Nope, Rakdos. Not nearly as potent as Boros. Will 100% block your Doomed Dissenter. You may have a zombie token. Because they can get value out of sacking it later on. Cancel that. No problem there. So the Dissenter fully traded with the Sentinel. No big deal. Don't mind trading across that way. Not going to block this attack. This feels like a sure strike. And if they want to tap out for their motivator, I'm fine with that. No problems. We'll just throw in another defensive 3-drop. No attacks. This opponent feels very aggressive, even though they're in the Rakdos, not the Boros. No blocks. I definitely don't mind taking 1 damage here or there. That's okay. It'll add up after a while, so if our opponent's got Stone Cold nothing, these are great bluffs. But I definitely won't risk quality creatures for some 1 damage pokes. Now, if they attack with everything, I'll throw blocks, but for right this minute, I definitely don't mind holding some off. Okay, Strangling Spores, no problem. Opponent definitely running there. That could have been the trick they were trying to force. I doubt it because they were swinging early. Again, no blocks. Can't remember if Sure Strike is attacking creature or just a creature you control. I think it feels like it would be attacking. Now I will block a 1 mana poke because it has to be something really good. If it's abnormal endurance or something similar, that's fine. This time I'll block. And they either can trade evenly or they can waste their Sure Strike. Just target creature, right? Target creature, okay. So it can be on the block as well. Now they've spent their tricks, and they have quite a board state to deal with. A little free attack here with 5/5 Vigilant. Pretty easy there. Surprised they went for the Sure Strike on the Basilisk and not just a straight across trade. I really don't want to trade Hostile Minotaur plus Investigator, or I keep calling it Investigator. Detective Goblin. I don't really want to trade 2 cards for my 1. I feel like I can get more value out of that. I don't know what punishes me for this attack, but Electrify maybe? Skeleton Archer. Like, that's too hard of an attack to punish. That's too far of a gap for them to fill. Well, now maybe their spider sense will tingle on this one. Like, why are they giving me these sweet double blocks? We'll see if we can get them. Why did I put 3 damage on there? That was stupid. It usually does it right. That's my fault for thinking that it would. But that's okay. Not great, because they have double blocks once they have triple blocks now. I don't know why it put 3 and 3. Oh, no, that was right, because it was... Okay, I'm with you. I was thinking -2, -2. It was not a mistake at all. I just don't feel a need to dwindle this Skeleton Archer. Like, I just don't see the advantage in doing it to force through an attack. Like, yeah, see, if I had dwindled and then attacked, they would have gotten the Hired Blade and they could have triple blocked. Like, my creatures are just so much better than theirs. Wow, opponent is trying really hard to play in these colors. Maybe they have some kind of late game bomb. Well, there's no point in sandbagging that land. That's got to make the opponent feel pretty demoralized that I didn't even bother to dwindle any of their stuff. Because, like, this stuff is not good enough for dwindling. Like, I can overcome this without having to waste my dwindles. Granted, they're playing a near unplayable card in this format. They just happen to get rewarded the one time. Like, that card is pretty much unplayable in this format. Like, there's so few things you really care about. I'm willing to swing with Basilisk here. I'm far enough ahead now that it's not doing the heavy lifting it once was. So, no big deal there. And the less on my opponent's board, the less I get punished for this Declare Dominance that I can play. They really can't punish me here unless they have something in their hand. I just get to wipe their board for free. I get to wipe their board for 1. I get to 3 for 1 the opponent here. And I get in 3 free damage. And they get nothing back out of it besides my Declare Dominance. And a zombie. Which suddenly becomes wretched for them. See what I mean about holding? I still have not used this dwindle. So if they do play a threat, a Volcanic Dragon, something along those lines, I can just dwindle it. So, like, that's... You really want to try to hold your cards for when you absolutely need to use them. Uncomfortable Chill is great in this matchup because their opponent's trying to go a little wider. Didn't see anything worth naturalizing. Root Snare's not very good. Daggerback was very good against them. I'm more than happy to bring in another Daggerback there. I'm going to pop out of Thornhide Wolves. Maybe Bristling Boar's worse. We'll pop out a Bristling Boar for that. That 2/2 Death Touch is so relevant against them early game that I really don't mind having a third. But we'll see. They're on the play. That's a big deal. That is absolutely where they want to be right now on the play. So we shall see what we can do. 2-drop with a Rabid Bite. We have a 1-drop, a Diamond Mare. Like, this is a great hand. We can go Explosive Apparatus into Diamond Mare, into Greenwood Sentinel, into Rabid Bite. All feels pretty good, and our opponent's already down to 5 cards, unfortunately for them. And we're on pretty good hand against them. So we'll see what they manage to keep. Lay down an Apparatus. See what opponent's got as a follow-up. Doom Dissenter. Lines up pretty well against what we got going on at the moment. We'll choose green, because green is obviously the heaviest color in our deck, even if we might play a 3rd turn follow-up, likely to use our mana the most efficient way possible. Now we'll try to get some fly damage. See what they got. 3 mana, not really a removal spell in the format for the Wind Mage. Okay, Skymarch Bloodletter's quite good. I'm just going to pop the Apparatus in at them here. First time I've actually gotten to blow something up with that, I think, this entire draft. So, there you go. It was worth keeping in because it killed a card. I'm going to take the chance to play the Rogue's Gloves, because if I can get those onto the Wind Mage next turn, then that's going to be gross. Yeah, if all they have is a Hired Blade here versus our Rogue's Gloved up Aven Wind Mage, things are looking pretty good for us. If they have Strangling Spores, that's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. Okay, they didn't. Hopefully we draw a land here. And we didn't. That's a little bit of a butt. Another Higher Blade. Okay. No big deal, because we can start playing Basilisks and Greenwood Sentinels if we get 2 of those. Two-headed zombie. Opponent's board's getting pretty scary now. Okay, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and Rabid Bite away the 2-headed zombie. Keep the cards flowing. This time they get either Dwindle or Metamorphic Alteration, but they're spending a turn doing that. I just don't see how they win from here. Unfortunately for our opponent, I just don't see how they win from here. Wait to see if I get untapped land, because I can do a lot more with untapped land. Yes. So we're doing a nice job here of fading what our opponent's got. Yeah, We've successfully shut off attacks. I don't feel like there's a way we can really lose this game. I mean, we're just drawing tons of cards. Well, opponent a little stuck for land. Definitely screwed for a color. Looks like we were able to kind of take over the game. Yep, and they scooped. Yeah, I don't think there was much they could do about that. With the skilled animator coming down to pump either the Diamond Mare or make the gloves a giant creature themselves is pretty bonkers. Unfortunately, the Rakdos deck just misses out on some of the things that the Boros deck gets. It misses out on the Gallant Cavalry, I think it's called, or something like that. I call him Goofus and Gallant because that's LSV's fault. It misses out on those. It misses out on some of the more key drops. It misses out on Pegasus Courser. It misses out on Starcrown Stag. It misses out on a lot of these cards that end up letting the white decks go wider because black just doesn't do as much. Black's more of a controlling color partway because of trying to pair with the blue, so it can be a blue-black control like Hired Blade. Great in a deck where you want to hold up mana on the third turn. 2/2, like 2 blue and a black is I'll cancel or I'll Hired Blade. Like no spells, Hired Blade. A spell I need to counter. Like feels great. Spell I don't need to counter, Hired Blade. Like feels great. 0 cool. Oh, 0 cool. Man, I love hackers. That's a pet movie for sure. Guilty pleasure movie, if you will. Even though I know Dan will not. Because he doesn't believe in guilty pleasures. Pleasure's a pleasure. I can respect that. Let's see if we get a hello from 0 cool. Yes, we do. Very good. Is this where we get run over by the Boros deck? Potentially. But that's okay, because we got... Yep, there's the Boros deck. Okay. We got first blood somehow. Figure that out. Can't be pass again. It's got to be something this time. Sark in the Fireblood? I don't even know what this does. I guess the first ability. Okay. Okay, we'll sell out a Thornhide Bulls while they're playing a Sarkin. We'll see what we can do. Gutter Snipe. Oh, interesting. Put it on a very interesting deck. Goblin Motivator. Okay, what are you discarding this time? It's almost like they're on like a blue-red spells deck. More land. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Okay. We'll see what they choose to block. If anything. I imagine they'll at least block the dagger back to try to hold 2 damage off Sarkin. No, they just let everything go. That's interesting. Sarkin may have served his usefulness. I mean, 2 loots and it faded a healthy amount of damage from the opponent's head. So, I just don't like... The mana is relevant enough because there are dragons at common, like the Spark Tongue Dragon and things, that could become relevant, and I really don't want to F around with that. So, call me a coward, but, you know, is what it is. attack, attack. Give them the opportunity to double block the Thornhead Wolves if they wish. Okay, no problem there. We still get to commit more creatures to our board, while simultaneously removing 2 resources from our opponent in colors that generally can't handle that as well. So I don't mind that at all. Next turn we can Rogue's Gloves up again and go for it. See, there's the dragon I alluded to at common. Okay, don't care. I'll get in with the Druid of the Cowl too. If they want to rock Druid of the Cowl and take 6, I'm fine with that. And let me draw a card on top of it. That is cool with me, Daddy-O. Alright, so what do we got? Nope, they went for a block on the Dagger Tongue. Okay, faded at the last second. That's what I got. My stream's got in soon. My water bottles run out. My pens run out. No problem. If they only have things with less than 3 power, then this is great for the Bristling Boar. It can't be double blocked. Yeah, Lava Axe is pretty bad here. Oh, this is great. Wow. Opponent Snap took it too. Huh. Interesting. Did not expect the Snap take. I mean, they just lose the Courser. But they're pretty low on life. Okay, looks like they're going to blow up my Bristling Boar. Blow up my Bristling Boar. So alliterative. I'm going to hold the chill just in case things get away from me. It is entirely possible. See if they want to fend off this 1 damage and a card from me. They do. Red-white generally doesn't have a way to get through there, so I'm okay with that. Take my chances while I can. Because soon they're not going to be able to... They have to commit it, like, basically, if I can try to hold them in the abyss. Farts. That's really bad. Hmm. It's going to be tough. Opponent built like a Boros control deck. I wasn't expecting a level of control this high. Like, I wasn't expecting 6, 7, and 8 drops, like, out of the opponent, to be honest. So, very interesting build. Definitely subverted my expectations. Definitely going to come in with... They're definitely coming in with Herald of Faith, for sure. I'll probably end up just cycling Uncomfortable Chill here, because I just need to find something that can deal with it before things get totally out of hand. I got plenty of beefy creatures. Speaking of... Get that out of here. Okay. Now we're back to parity. Board's back to pretty much parity. The opponent can dome me for 3 in the air if they wish. Jeez, Luminous Bonds. Okay. Definitely going to sandbag this land here. Man, I had to have Vigilant or Luminous Bonds, really? This opponent's deck is very strange. Like, really wasn't expecting Goblin Motivator into, like, Onake Ogre to turn into Heralds of Faith and Lava or Meteor Golems. Like, what in the world are we playing against? I mean, good for the opponent, the subverting, like, you know, being able to subvert my expectations or putting them in a winning position. Or at least, you know, keeping them alive. So, we'll see. We'll see what opponent can cobble together. We used a Rabid Bite, a Dwindle, Explosive Apparatus, and an Uncomfortable Chill. We don't have a ton of tricks left in our deck. So, we'll play an island. I'm not really big on bluffing attacks that could bite us against a Boros deck. They could just Sure Strike their creature. They could Mighty Leap their creature. Like, if I'm gonna attack with the Wind Guide, I want to have a spell to back it up. Oresco. So, I mean, like, this is a weird deck. They have Oresco Swiftclaws and Goblin Motivators and Pegasus Coursers, and then on the other side of the spectrum they have Meteor Golems and Heralds of Faith, and that's really strange. Opponent's deck, very, very strange. Thud. Interesting. I went with the Swiftclaw. Figured they would have went with the Priest to try. I guess I could just block Swiftclaw. Okay. Scholar Stars is a solid draw. Nice card to replace itself. 3/2 is pretty good on this board. Not great, but pretty good. Greenwood Sentinel's kind of a lame follow-up. But it's a follow-up, so I'll take it. Next turn I might consider some kind of a flunge. Go 1, 3... You go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 power. It's a lethal attack. Their blocks, the only good block they really have is Dwarven Priest on Scholar of Stars. They could blank the Druid of the Cowl. Like, they can Pegasus Courser on a Greenwood Sentinel, Dwarven Priest on Scholar of Stars. Motivator can jump in front of Druid of Cowls. They take 3 down to 6. I get their Motivator. I don't get anything else. May not be worth the flunge. So I don't think that's really in our best interest here. Kind of just waiting on Declare Dominance at this point. Declare Dominance, another beefy creature. Unfortunately for us, not unfortunately, fortunately for us, opponent really not doing too much themselves. They may not feel the need to. We'll see. We do mill first, but Declare Dominance breaks parity real easy. If I could put it on a creature with 4 power that can attack, I would. With 5 toughness that is eligible to attack, I absolutely would. An Omen Speaker, you can see this card's really going to shine here because it's going to find us some stuff. It's going to move some things around. It's going to get some dead lands out of the way minimally. And that's exactly what it did. Next 2 turns were dead draws. So, I'm just going to play out my last land. I mean, opponent clearly sandbagging land. I don't believe that they have 3 spells. I believe they may have 1 spell. But we have 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 we saw. So we have 2 land left to get through. Gallant Cavalry, that's the card I was calling Goofus and Gallant. That really doesn't change anything. The Daggerback Basilisk was a great draw for us because 5 damage across 5 creatures means we just put 1 damage on each creature and we kill them all because of Death Touch. So that's insane. But I mean, at this point, the Declare Dominance just turns into a classic lure effect, meaning that all their creatures are forced to block 1 while all the rest get to smash in for lethal damage. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get to. The only thing I'm worried about is something like a Shock or something like an Electrify, because that basically blanks this card. So options are I can run it out there, and I think I may because Thornhide Wolves is one of the few creatures I have left. So if they have an Electrify or something like that, then they get us. They get us. The creature I mind losing the least is probably the Omen Speaker, and it also fades Shock. While normally the Basilisk would be a much better choice for a card like this, this means they have to have Electrify pretty much exclusively with the colors they have. Okay, Lightning Strike. Okay, so I don't really know if it's worth swinging with the Basilisk. I don't know what we have left. I know I don't want to keep giving the opponent the chance to do something, but man, I just did not expect a full pivot into like some kind of white-red control deck. Like full-on opponents holding spells and things to like I don't understand. Like all I need to do is take down this Pegasus Courser. I don't know if I have a Dwindle left to do it. I think. Yeah, I have a Dwindle left. Gearper Guide does some work. Gearper Guide does some work. Gearper Guide actually is pretty nasty here. So next turn, I can make it so a lot of things cannot be blocked, except by the Onake Ogre. So Gearper Guide, another great card to have drawn. Granted, we're drawing most of our deck here. We have eight spells left in our deck, or 8 cards, 2 lands on the bottom, 2 lands elsewhere. Like the opponent's just they're a full-on white-red control deck that can like Boros aggro out potentially off of a decent draw, but for the most part, they are a dedicated control deck. That is something you don't see every day. Yeah, okay. They get the idea that I can now attack past all of their creatures. Interesting. So the problem is the opponent also requires a plethora of diverse threats to deal with because their deck is capable of 2 paths to victory. So that's interesting. Daggerback's definitely good enough to come in. Rogue's Gloves can come out. It's daily chances of it doing any work. We saw what it did there. Basically nothing. Uncomfortable Chill can stay in, I think. I just don't really... I'd like to get Cancel in, if possible, considering we're playing a control game. But I just don't know early game if I have time to cancel, and like, do I want to be drawing a cancel? At the same time, I don't think Wall of Mist is good, because I do think for this game there's a higher chance they board into something more aggressive, but so be it, and I just can't afford late game to have just a bunch of Wall of Mists to draw into. So opponent has definitely flummoxed me with the way they've built their deck, which is kind of a slight aggro front to a much more controlling back end. So I'm definitely surprised to have seen that. Unfortunately, we have to mulligan here. Looks like opponent did the same thing. I think we're going to have to mulligan again. Though, on like 17 land, we have a spell we can play. The problem is we need 2 land before we can do anything. This one's a keeper. It's by far the best hand we've seen. Yeah, we'll keep that, no problem. We can go second turn Druid, third turn Skyscanner without having drawn an additional land. So I am in for that. Did not expect our opponent to turn into what they turned into. Okay. Just going to bash this for 1 here, no problem. We'll get that Druid of the Cow down. And opponent, very hasty concession. Okay. Didn't expect that. And we got there. And I think that's it, right? We managed to get out, or are we one more? I can't remember. Oh, we got them all! Hey, all right, we did it. Outside of that one really asinine mathematical error, I think that was okay. We'll claim the prizes we get. That was a really... Whoa, we got a lot. 6 packs and 2,100 gems. Been a while since I think since my last recording for this. I guess I just need to record all my drafts. So we'll open 6 packs to end this one up. I'll just be under 2.5 hours for this one. Got a Cast Wand. What else do we got? Sigiled Sword of Valoron. Okay. What else do we got? Also, if we can start rolling these drafts, you get cards. You get cards you need. Mythic Wild Card. And then this next pack will earn us a Mythic Wild Card. I prefer rare wild cards because they're far more useful. Anything's more useful than the Hydra. So I have 4 Mythic and 4 regular rare wild cards. I've lost count of packs. Mythic Wild Card. I think this one and then one more. We'll just call this one and then one more. If I miscounted. I've been playing a lot of Magic. It's warm in this little room that I have here in my office. So I suffer for you people. Because I love you all so much. Ooh, baby. We got 3 more packs for another one. We'll do one more. Just feel like keeping it going. We got 215. Once I tack on the end bits, will be probably right around 220. A little under. So that's it. Thanks for sticking with me through the draft. We somehow managed to pull out 5 wins with what I feel was a pretty medium blue-green tempo curve style build. If you like this content, please give it a like. Please drop a comment. Say something about it. If you haven't subscribed yet, of course, we'd love you to subscribe below the button down there. Subscribe. There's also a little bell next to that. If you ring that, you'll get an email every time we put out content, which is super duper regular. I'll quickly end this by running through our release schedule. Sunday, we do a live stream on twitch.tv/Supraliminal usually me or Dan doing Arena, though Jared has now gotten a machine worthy of streaming for everybody, so he will start to do some things as well. He's already done Star Wars, and we'll probably twist his arm and force him into Arena. He's in the beta, so he'll be doing some content for everybody. Monday is our Did You See podcast, where Dan and I go over nerd news, all the cool things that's happening in the world of pop culture, and we discuss it and give our opinions. So if you like us and you want to hear our opinions or some new things that have arisen that you may not be aware of, check that one out. Tuesday is this recorded content for you in some way or another. It will be games related content on Tuesdays. Wednesday is one of the only days of the week we don't release something, so usually we try to hop on another live stream during the week. It's usually on a Wednesday if we can help it. Thursday we have Supraliminal Films. We do a bunch of film stuff. That's how we got started. We used our film prowess to get us into doing some hopefully decent production quality Magic content for everyone. So something new comes out every week there. We have Film Fakers commentary. We have Film Fakers commentary, Best of Poor Man's Process, 1, 2, 3 shoot, sometimes a short film. You never know what we got in the oven on Thursdays. Friday is another day off for us. No, that's not true. Twitch VOD goes up from the live stream on Fridays. So if you missed it on Sunday, you can catch it on a Friday on YouTube, where you are now watching this. Then Saturday is nothing, which is another day we try to stream if possible. Sometimes we just relax. Sometimes we have to film things. Yada, 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 yada. And then we're back to Sunday with the Twitch, twitch.tv/Supraliminal Films. So if you enjoyed this, please check us out. And if you can't remember all the crap I just rattled off just now, supraliminalfilms.com for everything. And until next time, play more spells.